A diver had warned him not to go near the cave before nightfall, but when he reached the dark cave entrance, he turned back. Later, his fellow divers entered the cave and returned safely, but he was nowhere to be found. Everyone assumed he had simply gone missing, but the truth was even stranger. At that very moment, he was lying in the deepest part of the cave with a diving knife buried in his chest. At first, everyone believed it was a murder case, but when the police completed their investigation, the truth they uncovered shocked everyone. Today's story is about the Bosnica Bay cave diving incident. This cave is located in Bosnica Bay in the Adriatic Sea. It is a sea cave formed over thousands of years by erosion from seawater. Thick silt covers much of the cave floor. Near the surface, the water temperature is around 24 degrees, but deeper down it drops to about 14 degrees. No natural light reaches the interior, making the environment extremely confined and dangerous. On September 10, 2002, a group of 8 people arrived at Bosnica Bay by boat. The group included a captain, 5 diving enthusiasts, 2 diving instructors, and a 31-year-old Czech chef named Miroslav Kuklis. That night, everyone ate, drank, and relaxed on the boat. During the gathering, Kuklis mentioned a famous cave nearby. Curious, he entered the water at around 9 p.m. with 4 other members of the group. The 4 included 2 instructors and 2 recreational divers. When they reached the cave, Kuklis suddenly turned around and swam away. The other 4, driven by curiosity, entered the cave. The cave entrance was about 9 meters underwater. After entering, the passage narrowed into a tunnel that descended to around 20 meters. Beyond that, the cave split into 2 routes. The left side ranged from 21 to 36 meters deep and was relatively open. The right side was narrow and winding, eventually opening into a larger chamber with a maximum depth of about 57 meters. The 4 divers went only a short distance inside. After seeing how complex the cave system was, they became nervous and decided to turn back. Within minutes, they returned to the surface. At around 10:30 p.m., when they got back to the boat, they realized Kukli still hadn't returned. At first, everyone assumed he had already gone back ahead of them. Soon, however, they realized he might be in trouble. One instructor immediately entered the cave to search for him, while another diver waited outside. After searching for about 30 minutes, he still couldn't find Kuklis. His oxygen supply was running low, forcing him to return. By then, Kuklis had been underwater for nearly 2 hours. Everyone realized something serious had probably happened. The police were notified immediately. The police believed the chances of finding him alive were almost zero. The next morning at 8 a.m., 2 professional police divers arrived at the scene, but the search operation turned into a disaster itself. The 2 officers entered the cave and followed a guideline into the darkness. One officer became disoriented. He lost contact with the guideline and could no longer determine which direction to go. When the second officer reached a deeper section of the cave, he realized his partner was no longer behind him. In the confusion, he nearly became lost as well. Somehow, he managed to relocate the guideline and escape. When he returned to the boat, he was shaking uncontrollably and suffering from severe psychological shock. He was immediately sent for treatment. The second officer was not as fortunate. Unable to find his way out, he ran out of oxygen and died inside the cave. Police then launched a large-scale recovery operation and called in a specialized cave diving rescue team. Sometime later, the team recovered the officer's body from a depth of about 24 meters. He had died from asphyxiation. Afterward, they found Kuklis's body in the deepest part of the cave, roughly 54 meters underwater. But his condition stunned everyone. His diving mask was no longer on his face. His breathing regulator had become detached. Most shocking of all, a diving knife was embedded in his chest. Police immediately treated the case as a homicide investigation. The autopsy revealed that the knife had penetrated about 11 centimeters deep and severed a major artery. Water was also found in his lungs. At first, police suspected 2 of his companions, but the investigation uncovered no evidence against them. Records from Kuklis's dive computer showed that after separating from the others, he had not returned to the boat. Instead, he had re-entered the cave alone. By then, the other 4 divers had already exited the cave and had no contact with him. Investigators also considered the people on the boat, but the timeline and circumstances made it extremely unlikely that anyone could have killed him and then moved his body to such a deep location. Eventually, after reviewing the dive computer data, medical findings, and evidence from the scene, police concluded that Kuklis had been heavily intoxicated. According to the records, he wandered repeatedly between the deeper and shallower sections of the cave. His sense of direction had deteriorated and he could no longer find the exit. After becoming lost for an extended period, his oxygen supply was nearly exhausted. Police concluded that, in an attempt to escape the unbearable suffering of drowning and suffocation, he stabbed himself in the chest with his diving knife. In the end, both the knife wound and drowning contributed to his death. That became the official conclusion of the case, and it matched the medical reports available at the time. Even so, some people still believe there may be another mystery hidden behind what happened. What do you think?